So every time I thought about starting my self-improvement journey, I assumed journaling was the way to go. I didn't implement nothing different in my life besides writing down all the things that bothered me. And in a way, it helped me release pressure from what I was feeling, but ultimately it didn't help at all. The root cause of the problem wasn't getting my thoughts out, it was needing to change my thought process. I had to realize that my mindset was still the same, and it's like this. If you keep doing the same things, you will keep getting the same results. I had to realize that my life was a product of my fixed mindset and the application of the same habits that made me into the person I did not want to be. So if this sounds like something you're also going through, continue watching this video because I'll be sharing 5 simple mindset hacks that will actually improve your mental health. Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Tamara. I've been on a self-improvement journey for the better part of the last 9 months. Coincidentally, the same amount of time I have been pregnant. I started this channel to share my experience on my own self-improvement journey and what has helped me become a better version of myself. Notice I didn't say perfect. So if you've made it this far, please hit the like and subscribe button. I will be sharing all things self-love, personal developments, and just tips on becoming your best self. Stop overthinking. I realized that overthinking was me avoiding the action. Like, I would think about all the things that I have to do for myself, like work, cleaning the house, or even taking steps towards my goal. I would make a mental note of everything that I had to do for the day, and then I would assess how much work it was. My tasks could have included anything like washing the dishes, the clothes, finishing assignments I haven't started, making social media posts, and cooking dinner. And just thinking about all of that and the action that the task will require caused me to wallow in this overthinking spiral and not work on anything. My advice to you is to take it one step at a time. When you give yourself too much in any given day, you tend to do nothing because you already know that you have so much that you have to do. And this leads to procrastination. So instead of overthinking your list of stuff, just start with what's at the top of your list, work on that until it's complete, and then move down the list. And make your list in the order of importance and the most dreadful. Okay, studies have shown that if you do the one thing that you're avoiding most and get it out of the way, your productivity then skyrockets. And at the end of the day, just know you don't have to feel ready or have it all figured out to take action. You just have to actually do something. Acknowledge negative thoughts. It's okay not to be okay. I've experienced being happy one moment and then something triggers me and I think back to a situation that made me feel some type of way. Now you can argue that this is due to the you can always forgive but can't forget theory, but I simply think it's because I haven't even acknowledged how I truly felt in that moment. And now when the thought pops up into my head, I just push it to the back of my mind and I tell myself it is what it is. Ultimately, this hinders your growth. What you may not realize is you are training your mind to know that it's in pain and function off of that pain. This causes thinking patterns that you may not even realize you have. For instance, if someone has broken your trust multiple times, they apologize, you forgive them, and then they keep doing it, eventually your response will be more nonchalant and less compassionate. And you may even tell the person that you forgive them, but in your mind, you no longer trust them, and it's likely that you expect for them to do it again. And if trust is a big deal for you, this is likely to make you distant and not trust anyone moving forward. Personally, this is one of the things that I struggle with right now, but I have learned to acknowledge how I feel and not just let it wash over me anymore. What I have found to help is by telling myself I feel like crap or I feel hurt. And then I ask myself these 3 questions. Why do I feel hurt? Is there something I can do to help myself feel better? Is there something I can do to avoid getting hurt like this again? Now, this allows me to build trust within myself to know, for one, my feelings are valid. For 2, it's okay not to be okay. I can still move forward and know that I'm not feeling my best. 3, this situation is isolated with one individual, which helps me to be mindful that I should not take one person's actions and assume another person has the same framework. Ultimately, this will allow a more positive outlook for you, which will train your mind to look for the positive in a hurtful situation. It's like a moth to a flame. You'll be drawn to what you see as the positive, and the negative will soon fade away. Focus on what you can control. Too often have I found myself focusing on things I could not control. To be completely honest, this shows up most in my relationships. I tend to take people at their word, and when I see something that goes against what they've told me, my reflex is to try and make their words align with their actions. Let me explain. In my last relationship, I had a person who told me he wouldn't cheat, he doesn't talk to anyone, doesn't have a desire to go out, so on and so forth. But then I came to realize that he does cheat. He's been cheating the whole time, and he actually quite enjoys going out, just not with me. When I first noticed this, I would confront him. I'd pry on the situation. I'd ask who the girl was. Why is he cheating? And then I would intentionally do things to make sure that he didn't have time to go see said person or go out. Did this work? No. At the end of the day, you have to understand, if a person wants to do something, they will do it. And there's nothing that you can do or say to make them feel otherwise. What happens when you focus on things you can't control is you ultimately lose focus of yourself. And at the end of the day, relationship or no relationship, you are your own person and you must put yourself first. Remember, you will not become the person that you want to be focusing on the aspects of someone else's life. What they do will directly affect them, and what you do will directly affect you. So what you have to learn is to focus on what you can control. You can easily become someone you don't recognize when you're focusing on the wrong things. It's like a car and a train. They both move, but the train has a set destination. No matter what you do, you cannot access the train to change its course, but you can get in the car and go where you want to go. Put it this way. If you are a car and you're trying to align yourself with the train, understand there's a limit to where the train is going, which means there's also a limit to where it will take you. If you stop focusing on the train, you will realize you have more control over where you're going because you're driving the car. Don't let one person's limit hold you back from your potential. You can still do it. That's the motivational quote for today, by the way. So what has helped me in the midst of any situation where I feel that I am starting to focus on something I can't control? I begin to ask myself, what is something that I can control? And then I will take either my notepad, my phone, and I will write down what it is that I'm trying to focus on that I can't control and what it is that I can control. And then I'll ask myself, what's the positive and the negative of focusing on both of these things? And what I found is, by writing it down and making it plain, you can see that focusing on what you can control allows you to be more mentally sound versus focusing on the things you can't control. And if you do this, you will start to notice a positive shift in your mindset. Be proactive. Being proactive ultimately means doing more than what you set out for yourself to do, giving you a head start on another task. So I have suffered personally from procrastination, which means I tend to put off things to avoid doing things that don't necessarily bring me pleasure or comfort. For the longest time, I wake up every day with so many things to do and find myself days behind on a lot of my tasks because I decided that I would do them later. Specifically, when it came to keeping my house clean, I was not the cleanest person. I would notice clothes and dishes piling up, and instead of doing them right away, I would just tell myself, I'll do them later. Well, later became 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, and now I had a sink full of dishes that was overflowing to my countertops, and I had piles and piles of clothes around the house. Now, this sounds bad, but what was even worse was when I finally decided that I was going to do the dishes and the clothes, and it took me all day. Had I done them when I first noticed them, I would have taken no less than 15 minutes to do the dishes and no less than 20 minutes to fold and put away my laundry. Like, seriously, this type of mental procrastination is training your mind to always be reactive in a situation, which causes you to fall behind in most cases. But if you start being proactive by implementing things that will help you stay on top of your most prominent task, you will train your mind to enjoy doing the work now that will make your life easier tomorrow. So something that has personally helped me is to make a schedule and actually stick to it. In the past, I've been horrible with making a schedule, but that's because I did not hold myself accountable to stick to the schedule. Now, I decided to take 2 days out of the week to do laundry to ensure that my laundry doesn't pile up and my house stays clean. And then I decided that every single time I use a dish, I will wash it immediately after and then put it away. Now, I still despise doing the work, but while I'm complaining about doing the dish, the dish is already clean. So the time it took me to complain is the same amount of time it took me to clean the dish. And now I'm finished complaining and I don't know what I'm complaining about because the dish is now done. So understand that you don't have to compile all of your tasks at once to be proactive. You can implement small steps along the way. Any action is better than no action at all. Just remember, one small action today equals less chaos tomorrow. Progress over perfection. It's okay to take things one step at a time. Nothing will ever be perfect. Just do what you can and reach the best version of yourself, okay? I would feel so discouraged if something was not done perfectly. I would be so eager to start something, and then I'd tell myself that if it wasn't perfect, I needed to stop doing it. And the sad thing was, no one else told me it wasn't perfect. I would tell myself it wasn't perfect based off my own standards. And this is the type of thinking that will hold you back. I was afraid of making mistakes because I did not want to start over. I felt if I started over, that meant I failed. What I did not realize is it doesn't mean I'm a failure because I'm making mistakes. Learning from my mistakes will only make me better. But if I'm afraid to make them, I cannot progress towards what I'm trying to achieve. So it took me a while, but about 5 months ago, I was looking over the curriculum to write a book. I started writing this book. But the more that I read the book, the less I felt the book made sense as a whole. With the content and to find a ghostwriter, the copywriting, the editing, I just became overwhelmed and I just stopped writing. About a week later, I saw a video of somebody who had just published their first book. They were saying how many sales they made and so on, and they started going through the process of them writing the book. And I realized they experienced the same issues that I was experiencing when I was writing a book. The only difference here was they didn't allow the obstacles that they were facing to stop them from achieving their goal. It hit me hard, but I realized that I was holding myself back. I wasn't allowing myself the opportunity to learn and progress. I was too focused on getting it right the first time. But what I should have realized is that sometimes the best option that you have is to make the mistake and start over. My honest advice is to give yourself grace. If you don't give yourself grace, you can't expect to give anybody else grace, first and foremost. But understand that learning is a part of any growth process. The journey is not easy, nor is it painless. You may have to lose some people, some titles, and your comfort along the way, but just trust that all of this will make you better. So, now that you know 5 simple mindset hacks that will actually improve your mental health, let me know if any of these hacks hit home for you. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're ready to take this journey seriously, I've got a free mindset reset workbook for you. Click the link in the description into your email and I'll send it right over to you. Remember, small actions done consistently equals big change. Start with just one, practice it, and make it your own. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because in my next video, we'll be diving into 10 self-care habits that actually work and you don't want to miss it. Ciao for now.